Welcome to the first of 5 short videos about how to find, browse, and search historical newspapers from Kingston and Frontenac County. I'm Jo Stanbridge, and I'm the local history and genealogy librarian at Kingston-Frontenac Public Library in Kingston, Ontario, Canada. One of the questions that people ask me most often is how to find articles and pictures from back issues of the Kingston Whig-Standard and the newspapers that preceded it. In this video, I'll show you how to find those newspapers in person and online. We'll start here at our recently renovated Central Branch on Johnson Street in downtown Kingston. The local history room is located on the 2nd floor, and you're welcome to visit anytime the Central Branch is open. The room is at the west end of the library, overlooking Bagot Street, in the historic Bishop's House. As you enter the room, the library's local history collection is to your right. To your left is the genealogy section. These books belong to the Kingston branch of the Ontario Genealogical Society. So if you're interested in Kingston-Frontenac history or genealogy, this is a great place to visit. Near the entrance to the local history room, you will find the microfilm collection. It includes an entire run of Kingston newspapers from 1810 until the present. So that includes the Kingston Whig-Standard and its predecessors, the British Whig, Kingston Chronicle and Gazette, and so on. The boxes of microfilm are on open shelves, so you can help yourself to the ones you need. There are 2 microfilm readers. One is located just outside the local history room, and the other is immediately to your right as you enter the room. The machines are the ScanPro 3000 model, so if you're familiar with the old ScanPro 2000s that we had before the library renovation, these will feel like old friends. From the microfilm machines, you can send your results to the public copier at a cost of 25 cents per page, or you can bring your own flash drive and save your results for free. The microfilm machines are available on a first-come, first-served basis, and you don't usually have to wait long to use one. If you don't know how to use the microfilm reader, a staff member will be glad to show you how. These days, the microfilm machines are used mainly for newspapers published after 1927. I'll explain more about that later. For the papers published prior to 1927, there's an easier way. They're available online and you can access them from home. The service is free and no sign-up is necessary. I'll show you how. The easiest way to access them is through the Digital Kingston website. To get there, you can simply Google the phrase Digital Kingston, or you can find your way there from our library's website at www.kfpl.ca. In the left-hand navigation pane, choose Online Resources and Recommendations. If you hover over it, a submenu will appear. Resist the urge to click Newspapers and Articles, which is where you'll find the more recent papers. We'll come back to that in a later video. Historical newspapers are found under Local History and Genealogy, and then Digital Kingston. No matter whether you get to Digital Kingston by doing a Google search or by following the breadcrumbs on our library's website, you'll end up here on the Welcome page. On this site, there are tons of local history links and exhibits to explore, but we're on a mission, so let's go straight to the access point for Kingston-Frontenac newspapers. Click the Research tab at the top of the screen, and it takes you to a new section of Digital Kingston that has its own web address. If you plan to come back here often, you might like to bookmark this page on your own computer. The web address is research.digitalkingston.ca. In the left-hand navigation pane, there's a list of broad categories with subcategories underneath. You can click the plus or minus sign next to a broad category to expand or collapse it. Newspapers are found under the broad category Records and Documents. To expand the newspaper's subcategory even further, click the caret icon. As you can see, the newspapers fall into 3 date ranges. Each needs to be searched in a different way. If you click on a date range, Digital Kingston will lead you to a page that explains how to search newspapers from those dates. In future videos, I'll tell you about each of those, and I'll give you some tips and workarounds for places where you might get stuck. But today we'll look at the first option in this list, Browse All by Date. At first glance, this may look like a magical link, as if you could click the button and browse every single issue of the newspaper that was ever published. Sorry to disappoint you. For copyright reasons, it's not possible to access the more recent issues of the newspaper this way. But it is possible to browse more than a century's worth of the early newspapers free online, and that's what I'm going to show you now. In later videos, I'll show you how to search them by keyword and how to access Kingston newspapers that were published after 1927. The page opens to some introductory text and links, which will be covered in later videos. But one thing that I would like to point out is the news at the top of this page. We owe a huge debt of gratitude to the Frontenac Heritage Foundation, which recently spearheaded a digitization project that added 25 years' worth of Kingston newspapers to this list. I'll tell you more about that project in my next video, and I'll explain how to search across that whole collection. But right now we're exploring the browse option, and the main thing to know about this page is that the good stuff starts below the fold, so scroll down. As you can see, it's very straightforward, so just keep scrolling down the list until you find the newspaper issue you'd like to see and click on it. In this case, we'll pick the year 1922. A calendar opens, and if a date is shaded in gray, it means that the newspaper is available online and you can click to open it. If it's white, it isn't available, maybe because the newspaper wasn't published that day, or it couldn't be scanned because it was damaged or missing. On the right side of the page, you can see all the other years that are available online. To jump to one of those years, just click on it. In this case, we'll stay with the year 1922, and we can scroll down through the calendar and pick a date to browse. September 21st, 1922. The scanned newspaper opens on your screen with an image of the front page to the right, and links to each page of the newspaper in a grid format below. Just click on a page to open it. From that point, I think you will find that the controls are self-explanatory. To turn a page, click the arrow. If you hover your mouse over the newspaper, a toolbar will appear in the top left-hand corner. The toolbar consists of 3 pairs of buttons that control the way the newspaper page appears on your screen. The first pair are the typical plus and minus signs that allow you to zoom in and zoom out. If you zoomed in and you want to get back to your original view of the whole newspaper page, you can click the Home button. If you want the page to fill your whole computer screen without any sidebars or top toolbar, click the Full Screen button. The final pair of buttons will rotate the image left or right on the screen. You won't often need these, but it's nice to have them just in case. And in case you thought it couldn't get any easier to browse these newspapers. Yes, there is a search box at the top of the screen. If you type a word into that box, the computer will automatically jump to the correct page of the newspaper and highlight your search term in pink. I think you'll agree that if you're looking for a name or keyword, this beats microfilm searching hands down. Having said that, there are a few rare times when you might want to go back and look at the microfilm reels at the Central Library. For example, I've used microfilm a couple of times when we needed to brighten up a photo that was too dark to see on the computer screen. But I don't want to create the impression that blurry scans will look clearer on microfilm. If the page is hard to read online, you'll find that the microfilm is just as difficult to see. So if you'd like to dive right into the Kingston newspapers, visit the research page of the Digital Kingston site, look for the newspapers link on the left-hand toolbar, and click Browse All by Date. Scroll down and click a link to start browsing. Browsing by date is only one way to explore these pre-1927 newspapers. In the next video, I'll show you how to search across the whole collection, how to avoid some common pitfalls, and zero in on what you're looking for. Meanwhile, please feel free to get in touch with questions or feedback. I'd love to hear from you. You can reach me through the contact form on the library's website at www.kfpl.ca. Thanks for watching and have fun exploring the newspapers online.